Greetings, friends. It is the 5th of January, and I'm going to start this one on the real. I just blocked Hans, okay? I've been very patient with this man. Been very patient with this person, and turns out he just wants to really be, try to be a clever troll. So, I really don't understand why. I don't. I do and I don't. So, why do you disinvited yourself to the party? Okay. On a positive tip, because this is really a wonderful exchange that I'm experiencing with most of you. I am so glad that those of you that are mature, and I'll keep pointing that out about people. Those of you that are mature and can think clearly can see, that I'm just a human, and I'm just talking about my interests, and I'm not over here looking for popularity or any of that. I'm not doing it. Well, the job I'm doing is being honest. Okay, that seems to be quite hard for most people. So I'm going to keep on keeping on exactly like I'm doing because I'm on my path. Hello, Dave Newhouse. Since I know that you watch pretty much every video, and I'm glad to know that when I rant about things, justifiably, that it doesn't scare you away. If anything, the fact that I say exactly what's on my mind and that draws people away is like a filtering. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I wouldn't necessarily want. I don't know if I would want those people in my house. In real life. So, one more thing before I show any music. Was so surprised and pleased to see the other day a message on my video, my Monday video, a message from my uncle Greg Higgins. If you see this, Greg, hello. Greg is my dad's younger brother who I've never met in real life. My family only in recent years connected with Greg. My sisters and nephews on the West Coast, because that's where he is. He's in California. They've met him, and they've sent photos of the gatherings. He looks just like my dad. That means a lot to me. Your comment and your support and your love, Greg. He says, "Way to tell him, nephew. I'm telling y'all," and I'm not backing down. One more before I go, because I feel like this is important and this is actual work towards making the world a better place. On my Monday two-parter videos where I really just really spoke my mind, I had another person attempt to troll me and do, what do they call it? Gaslight me, okay? See, gaslighting anyway. So rather than just delete it and block it, I blocked the person, but I left a comment and I responded to it, intelligently, which is, I told him, number one, you fuck off, and that you have brought nothing of value to the table. When I speak about these things, this is not whining. That's a response when you don't want to hear something you don't like, especially when it pricks your sense of who you are. And I'll say it again before I show any music. Things aren't going to get any better until this colonial racist legacy of the entire planet is dealt with, and it's not being dealt with very well at all. And I don't mind bringing it up because that's a real obstacle to any sort of real substantive growth. on this planet for mankind. It's a big one. I turn on the radio.
She's the editorial director.
And listen to the garbage and the way that they talk circles and bullshit around everything. Fuck that shit. Okay, I bought this years ago because it was used and it looked like oh, it might be good. Teenage Filmstars with John McGee, and named the album Star, and the people behind this in the band, Ed Ball and some other folks, I have their work in other bands. I like most of this, but it almost seems like, I don't know if it's serious or not, but they're doing a lot of the My Bloody Valentine thing with the sound on this album. But there's a point with some of the repetition where it seems like, do they really mean to go on this long? This seems like this is kind of, Anyway, it was fun. It was a fun listen. I also want to just qualify that. At this time on the planet with COVID, in particular, Omicron which is, not as severe, but it's kicking our asses. I don't have any problem sitting at home a lot, isolating just to stay well. I'm not desperate to get out and do things. I'm not fighting this idea that I'm losing my freedom. I want this to be over. And so I'm trying to do my part. And so sitting at home is fine. One more thing, Dave Newhouse, I know you're watching. You're going to have to give me a deadline on that bass because it's the way my mind works. And so when it's time to focus on that, I'll finish it. But right now it's just like I was kind of working on it and now I'm not. So you give me a deadline and I'll wrap it up. Please. Enrico Rava, The Plot. Trumpeter. I don't know if he's Italian or if he's Hispanic or what, but this is some of that real good ECM shit. This album is just killer. John Abercrombie is a guitarist. And John Christensen on drums and Pal Danielson on bass. You really couldn't get much better quality musicians who listen and respond and just take the music to higher levels. This is a really, really good album. Very good. It was time for some Magma. And the thing that I like the least about Magma is Christian Vander's singing, okay? He's on some sort of trip and I respect it, but it's the music. So Emehntehtt-Re, there's a lot of singing, but I just, just keep listening because the music is just so fantastic. Just fantastic. Whatever it's about, I don't even care. The music is majestic, powerful, and I dare say I need it in my life. Okay, so let's talk about some classic, essential records in my opinion, which I think is fairly in line with the world. This next album I'm going to show you is something I think everybody should hear. And I think that when it came out, it was a bit of a phenomenon. I'm talking about Santana. And I'm talking about Santana 3. Now, when Abraxas came out, the one before this, which I no longer have a good copy of, I've had several, and I don't know what happened to my last copy, honestly. Even the first album, Santana, when Jingo first came out, when I heard Santana on the radio, it stopped me in my tracks. I can still describe to you that moment when I first heard the music of Santana. That powerful. See, this is why I get shitty about genres and people feeling the need to separate things in separate boxes. Great music is beyond genres. Carlos Santana is a force to be reckoned with from the word go. And through all of his commercial endeavors, I salute and praise him. He deserves it all. This album, starting with that cover, okay? The cover is descriptive. This album does have that kind of reach. This is the album where Neil Schon of Journey was introduced to the world. And I want to just give so much credit to Carlos Santana. Carlos Santana is such a huge-hearted man that he recognized the burning talent in Neil Schon as a kid, invited him into the band, and allows Neil to blow Carlos Santana away a couple times on this album. A couple of the hottest solos on this album are by Neil Schon. And Carlos Santana allowed that. He's talked about it in interviews. That's a decent human. A person like that doesn't troll other people for fun or for kicks. And here's something else I want to say about this, because I want to make a difference, and I may not, but I'm getting this message out because it needs to be unrevealed to some of you folks who have no idea. Trolling is not just getting a rise out of other people. That's how they describe it. When you look up the definition, trolling is just saying something or needling someone till you get a rise. Like that's a win. Somehow the troller has scored by getting a rise out of the other person. Well, I'm telling you folks, that is just another form of bullying. And I want to put it on that level so that maybe more of you will understand why it's toxic and it's dangerous, and why I'm not putting up with it, and why I bring it up here. Because trolling is just like, it's like an everyday event, and people just like shine it on, and I'm saying, no, we got to clean this shit up. It's like classrooms where the teacher has lost control because of the idiots in the back. Okay? I remember school. I didn't sit in the back. I learned early on about sitting in the back. No, I sat up in the front or in the middle. Okay? People have committed suicide. Children and teens and vulnerable adults have killed themselves because of trolling. That's not happening here. The exact opposite is going to happen here. I'm just going to double down on my message, okay? And showing the lowest part of yourself when you do that to other people. Get the message. Grow up. Be better. More. Joel Futterman with Jimmy Lyons, Richard Davis, Robert Adkins. Interaction. Futterman is not a well-known jazz pianist. I think he's from Chicago. When I first got this album, it was a bit much. I thought it was almost like it was rabid. It was like it was frantic. Okay. So when I listened to it yesterday, I got the same first impression, which is, okay, it's like these people are jumping out of the gate. Just give it a second. And then it started to congeal. Jimmy Lyons, I want to give credit first, and then Richard Davis next, for listening and pulling the shape of this music out of the mess. Excuse me. For free jazz lovers, this is actually quite good. And unlike a lot of free jazz records where they're Afrocentric and certain collectors think that they're ultra cool if they have the record as opposed to listening to it, this is one of those. This is very good. It's still cheap. I listened to this again. I just bought it, but I put it away and I just brought it out yesterday. They were special. They were. And this is great. It's wonderful to listen to. Side F, they do a slow crawling improvisation on the song Vitamin C. It's intoxicating. It's fantastic. It's fabuloso. It is. Okay? So before I go, I'll do a pull for you, okay? And I'm going to pull over here. This rack, which you never see, has my compilations, soundtracks, and some the end of Z and some world music. So I'm just going to go. I have a general idea. So I'm going to try and pull one where I don't. See, I can even recognize the feel of the record. Okay, this one I don't recognize the feeling. So what do we have here? Ah, The Dice Are Rolling, a Play It Again Sam Records sample. Play It Again Sam is a great label out of Belgium. A lot of really good electronic music and dance music. And there you see some of their best. Legendary Pink Dots, Siglos 20, Trisomy 21, Neon Judgment. Those are my favorites. And then I like the Weathermen too. That's my pull. I'm going to go ahead and go because I have to deal with nature. Talk to me, people.